How did I get here? What choices have I made over the course of the past 9 years to bring me to this singular point where I am doing a video on the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, out now on all major platforms for a price of $24.99. Warning, there will be spoilers for this game. It is a narrative-focused, choice-based adventure thing, and I don't recall much of anything of that original release. I played it, I finished it, I even got the achievement for 5 years after playing. I played it again and got that achievement on Steam, and I can't remember much of anything because I play a lot of games each and every year. So I don't know what I've done in those 9 years to say, hey, let's send him a copy, because I'm just some guy here doing videos in a bedroom. But nonetheless, let's actually play the game here for a little bit and see if anything seems familiar, because I honestly don't know. So at the very, very, very start here, I'm choosing English subtitles and confirm. Now, this is the important question. Have I played this game before? And the answer is yes. I finished it in 2013, and I have played hundreds of games since then, so I don't, I want to say yes, because I obviously have, but if it's playing upon that choice I made 9 years ago, I don't know. So I'm going to say yes. But again, realize that I don't remember anything besides, hey, it has a narrator. It's kind of like Portal, but not really, in terms of how this game goes. Oh, what time is it? What time is it? It's Vader. Ta 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 ta. Now it is 2:48 p.m. If you have not played the original, certainly I would say perhaps go do that. But if you have, certainly there's going to be spoilers. And if you know nothing, this should certainly be an adventure for you.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
And here we go. This all, again, it's been a little bit, but this is in line with my current memories of the game, which is you hear a narrator, and he describes what you're doing, but you can also disobey that narrator and make your own choices on how that goes.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
And of course, multiple endings can be attained based on what you've been doing. So let's head to that meeting room. And kind of, it's almost a time loop in certain respects, in that you see the same things over and over again. So yes, I also hate Mondays, much like a certain orange cat. But let's check on what's...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And thus, your first decision, your first choice, your first... I don't want to listen to this narrator who says, I go left. I don't want to go left. I want to go right. And therefore,
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
it's kind of like that.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautiful... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
And again, I could do that, or
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
do not jump. Now, there's an achievement in that original game about not having a jump button. So,
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong
you know what?
foot here.
We jump.
I'm not your enemy, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
And thus, it begins again. And so you can see how the nature of this game and the nature of choice, or perhaps the illusion of choice, gets quite intriguing in how it accomplishes these goals.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Get Chris out of the broom closet. Who moved my desk? TPS reports. There's your Office Space reference there. Typical corporate nonsense. Broom closet. Can't open that. Trying.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss man. What up, though?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Let's go up. Or down. One of those two. Again, choice.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
What's going on this?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
And again, they are testing you. At every turn, it is like, well, do you follow the narrator, or do you say, I want to escape and get out? So you know what, we're going to keep on following this path and see where it goes with the mind control.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I think I just might. I think I just might. Boop.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Fire.
Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
427. That's me. button.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Let's find out.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Let us make that honest attempt to do such things. Off. Anybody? Hello?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won.
Victory.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
And open.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
But happiness is fleeting. And I just got my first achievement there from beating the game. But no, it's Groundhog Day. We're back. Many more mysteries to unveil in the Stanley Parable, and I don't know what is new here. I think that's kind of the big thing, is this is Ultra Deluxe, so it's obviously a reimagining and revamping of the original game, so therefore there are things to discover that were not in the original from 9 years ago. And I, again, don't recall much of what was in that game to begin with, so I don't know where this goes. I'm curious. I'll play it again, but I have no earthly idea where this is going to go in terms of the additional content and the narrative and such. But again, it is narrative, it's a lot of talking and walking.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Don't lie to me, bro. Don't you lie to me.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I don't want to. I don't want to do it. You can't make me. Can I unplug it? You can't make me. Or can you? 4, 2.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Lies.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Nope. Bye.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Really? Brick wall. Hi.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Press. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to press Y on my keyboard. You can't make me press Y on the keyboard. Why?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Please press G. What if I pressed H? Nope. How about F? Nope. How about Tab? Nope. I have to press the G button. So here we go.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch.
I wish.
Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Please press J.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Please press B to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own
Where's
job.
the...
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Please press K to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Please press Z.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press V.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Please press N.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Press F to sleep. Please.
And I'm trying to tell him this. that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Press X to be at work in the morning. I mean, look. We have to end this video, so I'm pressing the X button.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
We are not going to question nothing. We're going to end this video and say if you are interested in this game at all, don't watch any other videos, just go play it. Out now on every major platform for $24.99. I'm attackslug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. I'll see you next time. And I'm out.